Good morning, junkies. What's everybody doing today? I gotta tell you, we're in the middle of this $1 billion lottery frenzy here. Everybody's going crazy. I want to win a billion. I want to win a billion. I was at 7-Eleven this morning getting my coffee, and one of the guys in line, I mean, the whole line of people playing this, the Powerball, and the guy knew I was the car guy. He said, "Hey, junkman, what kind of car are you gonna buy if you hit $1 billion?" I'm like, a car. I go, I don't have any one favorite car. I mean, I would imagine I'd buy a bunch of cars. He goes, "Okay, what would be your top 5 cars?" It really didn't take me long to think about it. I mean, let's first off, if I want $1 billion, I'm just not buying cars. I mean, there'd be a lot of very happy charities, including my family, people I know and whatnot. But, if I want to buy 5 cars, I know my top 5 cars. But it's funny because I asked Stuntman the same question this morning. I spoke to him a little while ago and I said, "Hey, Stunt, if you won $1 billion, what cars would you get? And what do you expect from a guy who goes to a salon, gets manicures, pedicures, and uses hair gel?" Of course, he came out with, "Oh, I get a new Bentley and the Lamborghini Huracan and blah, blah, blah," and all these new cars, because he's so vain, he can't even think the possibility of driving an old car. So here's my top 5 cars if I were to win the $1 billion lottery. Number 5, and it's the only modern current car on the market, I would have to get a 911 Turbo S Cabriolet. Just something about the Porsche twin turbos. You can drive them every day. It'll start up for you. You don't have to worry about that 3,500 mile tune-ups and oil changes like Ferraris and Lambos. It'll start every day. You can go to the corner store with it, or you can drive out to the beach. Also, the only convertible on the list. So that's number 5. My number 5 car would be a new 911 Turbo S Cabriolet. Coming in at number 4 would be the 67 Shelby GT500. I know a lot of guys who know the older Mustangs say, "But Junk, why wouldn't you go to the 68? You get the GT500 KR. I like the body of the 67 better." And really the only difference is on the 67, if you look at the grills, it's got the inboard running lights. Where in 68, they moved them outboard. Now I know people say, "Oh, you can get the 68 KR and just change the grill." I really don't like changing things. I like cars the way they are. I like original cars. So number 4 would be the 67 Shelby GT500. Maybe the Acapulco blue, or maybe they have that nice racing green, but definitely that. My number 3 car, and probably the most expensive of them, of the list, potentially, would be like the 86 to 93 Porsche 959. Now guys, this is another Porsche. I'm a Porsche lover, if you guys don't know. The 959 in 1986, they made the twin turbo, all-wheel drive, with a beautiful body kit, knockoff rims. Phenomenal car. They made the car for 7 years. There's only less than 350 of them on the market. When they came out, built all together, I mean, who knows how many survived after accidents and whatnot. But number 3, Porsche 959. Now, also, I know some of these cars are dating me in age, so some of you young guys may have to go back and take a look to see some of these cars. But if you're car guys, you know everything I'm talking about. Number two would be the 87 Buick GNX. Guys, I had a Grand National back in the day, and it's the only car I'm sad that I ever sold. Definitely one of my favorite cars I ever owned. Not the fastest, but just the one I love the most. And I'd have to say I'd have to buy an 87 GNX. There was only 547 of them made. A lot of you performance guys, or a lot of you supercar guys, if you didn't know, this car was made by ASC McLaren. Buick took the cars off the line, brought it over to ASC, and they had Bruce McLaren, yes, that McLaren, beefed up the turbocharger, beefed up the suspension, and ASC put it all together and made the GNX. Great car, beautiful look, just tough looking, like the Darth Vader car. Phenomenal. However, again, there was only 547 of them made. So next to the Porsche 959 is the second rarest car on the list. However, my number 1 car, the number 1 car I would buy, the 1988. Now, there's only one of these in existence. the 1988 Callaway Sledgehammer. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a 1988 Corvette that Callaway Cars in Old Lyme, Connecticut. They made this car, put a beautiful body kit on it, juiced it up, ran. This is 1988. Brought this car up to 254 miles an hour back in 1988. So everybody talks about the Bugattis and the Paganis. Reeves Callaway did this back in 1988. And on top of it, they drove this car from Old Lyme, Connecticut. They didn't trailer it. They drove it from Old Lyme, Connecticut to Ohio. They ran a car and driver, or it was either car and driver, road and track. They did like a big test against the Koenig Ferrari, a rough Porsche, the Sledgehammer. Kicked the shit out of all of them. All those other cars were trailered there. John Lingenfelter, yes, that Lingenfelter, rest his soul. I met this man. He was a really nice guy. Took a lot of time to spend and talk to me. He drove this car on the track to 254, I think it was 0.7 miles an hour. After they broke that record and beat the shit out of all the other cars, they drove it back to Old Lyme, Connecticut. Not trailing. So that would be the #1 car. I mean, I'd have to say I'd probably spend, have to spend maybe $1 million for that car. I think it just sold. There was something about bringing the trailer. It was at $500,000 not long ago. But if I had a choice, those would be my top 5 cars. Now, I know some people are saying, come on, Junkman, like, that's it? Listen, if we had top 10, yes, I'd probably say a Carrera GT Porsche, a Ferrari F40, and probably most definitely a McLaren F1. However, if you see the size of me, I'm not exactly fitting in the middle, getting into the middle of a car to fit into that little middle jump seat to drive it. But those are my top 5 cars. Number 5, 911 Cabriolet S Turbo, 67 GT500, Porsche 959, Buick GNX, and my #1 car that I've always wanted, and maybe one day I'll get it, the 88 Callaway Sledgehammer. The actual Sledgehammer, not just the Corvette with the aero package on it. I don't know, I know a lot of people aren't going to agree. Some people may agree, some people may have the same cars on the list. But guys, let's win that billion first and we'll talk about it. So everybody, good luck, have a good day, and tell me, what would your top cars be? Talk to you guys later. Enjoy.